Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the fire.
Did Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo just pull back the curtain on live TV? Because what started off sounding like your standard WNBA commentary light banter, courtside analysis suddenly flipped, and before anyone could blink, it turned into a full-on truth drop. One that exposed the one thing no one with a whistle wants to admit. Caitlin Clark is getting fouled like she's starring in a wrestling match. And the refs, they're standing there like it's a dress rehearsal for a silent play. It was subtle, it was smooth, but it was undeniable.
Finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it.
Now, if you missed it, don't worry, we didn't. Because that broadcast turned into something else. A courtroom, a confession. A moment where two respected voices in the game said what fans have been screaming into the void for months. And maybe, just maybe, this time, someone's finally listening. Let's rewind that footage. Ruocco's voice wavers. Lobo leans into the footage. And then it happens. She's literally grabbing her arm. Insane. No whistle, no warning, just contact blatant, undeniable, and the refs? Just chewing invisible gum and floating in their own world. It took a full-blown assault at the end of the play for them to blow the whistle. Because by then it was unavoidable. The hit was so obvious, the slow-motion replay couldn't even soften the blow. And that's the pattern.
You think the old guard? You think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay.
It's not just that Caitlin Clark gets fouled. It's that she gets fouled in ways that should stop the game, prompt a flagrant, and bring a hush to the crowd. And yet every game, nothing. No call, no justice, like clockwork, like taxes, like gravity. Like Caitlin Clark getting bodied in transition while the refs stare at the ceiling tiles. It's become such a predictable circus that fans are Googling rule books in real time. Can a player be legally tackled if she's too good at dribbling? Is full contact wrestling allowed in women's basketball now? Because the way Caitlin's getting treated out there, it's not basketball anymore. It's sanctioned chaos. So when Ruocco and Lobo finally broke the silence, it wasn't just refreshing, it was revolutionary. Because they weren't screaming, they weren't ranting, they were doing what everyone else should have been doing this whole time, keeping it real. Call it how you see it, even if the league doesn't like it, even if the commissioner doesn't like it, even if Kathy herself is holding her breath in the front office, they said it anyway.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo.
Because someone had to. Let's be clear. Yes, other players get fouled. Of course, that's basketball. But what's happening to Caitlin Clark? That's different. It's not aggressive defense. It's not playoff intensity. It's theatrical violence. It's contact that leaves marks both physical and emotional, while everyone from the arena to the commentators flinch in real time. And the refs? They might as well be watching a cooking show for all the awareness they show. Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco pointed to the footage, showed us play after play. Moments where defenders had both arms wrapped around Caitlin like she was trying to escape, grabbing her at the waist, clawing at her shoulders, swatting down on her hands like she was a mosquito, and nothing. Not even a blink.
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's fouls.
And here's the thing, it's not happening just under the rim. That'd be too logical. No, Caitlin's getting bumped, slapped, grabbed, and pulled from the moment the ball is inbounded. It's a 94-foot endurance test where every dribble might end in a tackle and every crossover invites a forearm. Her biggest opponent isn't on the scoreboard, it's in stripes. It's the officiating crew who apparently doesn't believe in basic cause and effect. You foul someone, there's a whistle. That's the game. That's how this works. Except when it's Caitlin. And you can hear the growing frustration in every post-game interview, every sideline timeout, every glance from her coaches. The look that says, what exactly has to happen for a foul to be called? Because at this point, it's not about missed calls. It's about willful blindness. And don't get it twisted. It's not just Caitlin Clark asking questions. It's the entire basketball world raising eyebrows. Because how do you explain the inconsistency? One night, a brush on the wrist is a technical. The next, a clothesline to the neck is just good hustle. It's not officiating anymore, it's interpretive dance. A performance where the rules shift by the hour and the refs pretend every foul is a myth whispered on basketball Twitter. Try explaining that to a new fan, someone who tuned in to watch greatness. You hype up Caitlin, you talk about the logo threes, the court vision, the historic rookie impact, and then you all watch her get bulldozed, no call. You're staring at the screen in disbelief while the booth commentary cracks, their voices stretched between professionalism and outrage. It's madness. And we're all trapped in it. But then finally someone said it. Rebecca Lobo, calm and calculated, goes full truth teller. No fluff, no politics. Just honesty, the kind of honesty that echoes in your chest. Ryan Ruocco, usually smooth and balanced, starts letting the silences speak louder than words. Those little hesitations. That or wow, that's code. That's how you say, are you kidding me? When you're still trying to keep your job. This isn't fan meltdown. This is real-time reality check. Because here's what you need to know. Caitlin Clark is not being refereed like every other star. She's not getting that Breanna Stewart whistle. She's not getting that Aja Wilson treatment. Those players breathe near the rim and hear a whistle. Caitlin? She could be launched into the scorer's table like a crash dummy and the ref just adjusts their shoelaces. It's not about favoritism. It's about credibility. You can't tell fans you want parity, growth, marketability, then let your most visible star get demolished nightly. That's not letting them play. That's letting them get played. And now it doesn't feel like oversight. It feels like design. Because when it happens every game in every arena with different refs, different crews, same result, it stops being a mistake. It starts looking like a memo from up top. A directive. Tone it down on Caitlin. Let her feel it. Why? Pick your reason. Too popular. Too hyped. Too rookie. Too white. Too controversial. Whatever excuse fits the narrative. The outcome remains the same. She's getting hacked, harassed, hit. And the refs keep swallowing the whistle like it's their final meal. And the real evidence, it's not Reddit theories or angry fan edits. It's what's happening on ESPN. It's what Rebecca and Ryan are saying live on air. It's not subtle anymore. They're circling the missed calls with verbal highlighters. They're breaking down frame by frame how she's being fouled. And they're doing it with the precision of a legal case. Rebecca Lobo doesn't rant. She doesn't ramble. When she talks, it means something. When she points at injustice, it's because it can't be ignored anymore. Ryan Ruocco doesn't fumble. But lately, you can hear it. The disbelief. The restrained anger, the professional exhaustion of someone forced to call a game that's starting to resemble an unregulated backyard brawl. This isn't entertainment anymore, it's absurdity. And now even other players are weighing in. Paige Bueckers literally said in an interview that she had to unlearn proper defense and relearn how to foul because that's the only way to survive in this league now. Let that sink in. A top-tier talent admitting the system is so broken she had to abandon everything she learned just to keep up. That's not evolution. That's regression. That's decay. And the fans, they're not stupid. They see it, they post it, they break it down. They've got the receipts, the screenshots, the slow-mo edits. They know Caitlin's being officiated like an outsider. She's the face of the league, but treated like a trespasser. And here's the kicker. This didn't happen in college. At Iowa, she got hacked. She went to the line. That's how it worked. That's how basketball is supposed to work. But now? Now she gets knocked to the ground and has to apologize to the ref for being in the way of a forearm. So yeah, maybe it is time for the fans to raise their voices. Maybe it is time for commentators to speak up. Because the longer the league lets this slide, the more fans they risk losing, the more credibility they bleed out. You can't ask people to believe in a league that won't protect its own players. You can't grow the game while shrinking the rule book. So shout out to Ryan Ruocco, shout out to Rebecca Lobo, because they saw the same thing we all did and they didn't flinch. They said the quiet part out loud. They didn't just call the game, they called out the problem. And that's how change starts, not with whispers, but with voices that won't stay silent. Because this isn't just about Caitlin. But somehow it's always Caitlin. And now it's starting to feel intentional.